Another day, another vlog. Sticking to the program. Sticking to the program. So, got a couple thoughts this morning on the morning commute. It's a beautiful snowy day here. Nice and chilly, nice and cold. But you know what? This is kind of like a pretty snow. I like it when there's like big flakes falling. It's not super windy. This is kind of a pretty snow in that regard. But I want to talk to you guys about kind of the state of where we are at right now with advertising as it relates to businesses and business owners that want to start to really grow and build and scale their businesses. So listen, I had a conversation with a gentleman that's been on my mind that I think I want to kind of talk to you guys about and address. And he's spent a ton of money on social media. He spent a ton of money on his social media channel, his social media page. And he's hesitant now to invest back into his marketing because he's been spending all this money on an agency and a person to be managing his social media, which he thought and considered to be marketing and advertising. And no leads have come from it. No sales have come from it. No income, revenue has been generated by that effort at all whatsoever. And, he was on this call with me and he was just frustrated by the fact that, I don't think this works for my business. I don't think, social media works anymore. And I said, listen, there's two pieces of social media that you've got to recognize and understand. And they're completely unrelated and completely different from each other. And what you've got to recognize is that you might not even be able to really leverage or take advantage of one of those things. So what are the two different components? Well, it's organic and it's paid. So as it relates to organic social media marketing, these are people that were early to the party. These are your influencers. These are people that have large followings. These are people that, have been posting consistently and regularly for over a decade or more. These are the people that have been able to be early adopters of Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and that have created large enough followings where they don't have to pay to have their posts seen. Now, as a small business owner, you probably aren't in that bucket. The overwhelming majority of people aren't because they didn't understand really the reality of the situation or didn't want to really invest in their marketing and create content in that regard either. So what does that mean? It means that if you're posting just to post, if you're posting videos right now expecting to have that type of content get seen without some sort of a paid strategy or a paid component to it, you're wasting your time and it's not going to work. So that's just the reality of the situation. And why is that the case? Well, the reason why it's the case is because these platforms like Facebook or Instagram, they are directly focused on monetizing their traffic, monetizing the content that is consumed on their platform, and selling eyeballs to people like me or other advertisers or marketers or business owners that want to get their product or service in front of their audience. So what do? Well, they know that if they don't have an audience of people, if they don't have people that are on their platform, on their app, consuming content consistently and regularly, then they can't sell eyeballs. They can't monetize it. So the early adopters, the people that are on the platforms first, they reward them with throttling their reach. Meaning, if you post something, it's going to be getting in front of people. Throttling the impressions, throttling the amount of people that are seeing that content for free, because they need to reward individuals for creating content. What this creates is like a dopamine rush. People start to become obsessed with the fact that they're posting content, people are consuming it. So what do? They create more content. And in return, when people start to see that, hey, they're getting a large following, I want to now start to create content. It creates this feeding frenzy where now you have a bunch of people joining the platform, joining the app, creating content. But what you've got to recognize is that there's this point in time where there's this inflection point where they need to trade off the amount of organic reach for the people that are creating content organically, and they need to throttle it back so that you then have to pay for it, which is once again directly in line with their business model of how they make money and how they monetize these platforms, which is where we're at right now in 2024. So if you're posting stuff on Facebook, posting stuff on Instagram, you are not going to have it be seen by anyone. You're not going to generate leads and sales from it. And contrary to what anyone else says, that's just the truth. So let's talk about paid. What are your options? Well, your options are to then pay to play. And people are like, well, I don't want to pay to play. I don't want to have, people have to pay to have people see my ads. That's how advertising works. That's how it's always been in the history of the world. You have a platform, you have eyeballs, you pay to get in front of those people. TV, radio, news, print, catalogs, billboards, yellow pages. I don't care what it is. As long as there are eyeballs, there will be a way to sell those eyeballs ads. And the truth is contrary to what people are believing as well, with all these ad blockers and, people opting out of off-app tracking, post iOS 14 on social media, etc. People like ads. People like to see content and information and products that are of interest to them. They love it. No one wants to see ads or pieces of content or things that aren't relevant to them or their buying decisions or buying behavior. So people like advertisements. If people are getting frustrated with the type of ads that they're seeing, it's a result of them seeing ads for products and services that they're not interested in. That's a key difference in something that I believe to my core. So you absolutely, I don't care what the business is. I don't care if it's a local service business. I don't care if you're selling an e-com product, a physical product, a coaching package, a digital product, whatever it is. There's a way for you to monetize eyeballs on social media. There's a way for you to get your advertisement, your content, your product or services in front of your ideal customers. And that's through paid social. Now, the other thing as relates to paid ads is, Google. Well, where does Google come into this mix? Well, Google really is a search engine. All of their products and services, from Google to YouTube, they're search engines. So people are searching in and putting in keywords, and they're trying to find content, information, whether it be a website, web pages, or videos, as it relates to their keyword search. So there's a whole strategy of taking social and the eyeballs and the traffic that you can get from social media and kind of pairing that up with Google and search engine traffic as well. Because, oftentimes people need to be nurtured. They need to have a lot of touch points on social. They need to be educated at a high level and see your brand consistently before they're ready to make a buying decision and move to what's called the bottom of the funnel, meaning that they're in the moment looking for a product or service that they want to buy. So people are oftentimes bottom of funnel on Google or YouTube looking for that product or service. And if you've done a good enough job on social to kind of build those touch points, build the impressions, educate them, then oftentimes it's a lot easier to capture them when they're bottom of funnel. Why? Because you've naturally been top of mind. You've built a relationship with them. So this is the other challenge that this gentleman was facing. Is he said, well, I tried social media, it didn't work, and now I'm just doing Google and it's not really working either, and I don't know what to do. Well, it's because you weren't really doing social. You were thinking you were doing social, but you weren't actually having anyone see your content, see your ads, take you up on an offer. You were just posting organic content, no one was seeing it. And then when it wasn't working, you turned it off, and now you're just going straight for bottom of funnel, and you're essentially competing with all of the other businesses out there with no prior information, no prior relationship for your prospects. So of course Google's not going to work. So what's the strategy then? Simply put, this is the end of my rant, the end of my spiel. It's to do both paid social with Google and YouTube as a bottom of funnel retargeting strategy. That is the play. And when you do both of those two things together, the overwhelming majority of businesses, unless you have an incredibly niche product or service, that is going to yield the best results for you as it relates to your cost per acquisition, your cost per lead, and your ability to acquire customers at scale. And you need both of these things working in tandem. You need to look at your marketing budget holistically as a whole, rather than looking at, okay, well, what's our meta spend? What is the return on our meta spend versus what's the Google spend? What's the return on our Google spend? Because they're both going to be working together. They're both going to be tides that are raising all ships and helping your business grow if you're having them work together in tandem. So anyways, really interesting thought, but it's been on my mind, and I wanted to kind of share that because I do think it's a really relevant question, and I do see a lot of business owners struggling with it. So if that is you, hopefully that's helpful, and hopefully you can kind of take that to the drawing board and think of ways to incorporate paid social and Google bottom of funnel, search engine marketing to help you guys get the results that you want. So anyways, I'm pulling up to the office here shortly. Got a really good day, got some good content hopefully for you guys. All right, so the day's been going really well so far. Now what I want to do is take some time to show you kind of what I've been doing here, because I've been having a lot of sales calls, been having a lot of outreach, a lot of conversations about marketing, and there's a handful of clients that I would really like to work with. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing here. That has been a really, really good outreach strategy, follow-up strategy for us to close those clients that are like right there. There's maybe a little bit of an extra push, and you can use this to really prove your value, to fire up the relationship and strengthen the relationship even more, and also prove to them just how well you're going to perform for them. And it's just a way to provide tons of value. So let's dive into it. Also, if you'd like to see the video that I send out, the recorded video that I will send out to a prospect, so you can see exactly how I position it, how I frame it, how I explain it, you can actually click the link up here and go check out the full training walkthrough video. That way you can duplicate it for yourself based off of what's been working really, really well for me. All right, taking a break midday to go and get my car washed because, look at this. Look at these windows. Look at my windshield. If you saw the outside of my car right now, you would be horrified. It looks like I drove through a mud storm, and the mud caked on my car and just got everything filthy. So anyways, how you do the small things is how you do all things. How are you expected to keep your life in order if your car is in shambles, or if you're driving a dirty car? I don't know, maybe you can. I don't know, for me, I feel like if I have a clean car, a clean house, I feel like I'll probably run my business at a higher level. There we go. That's much better. That's much better. She's just glistening in the sun right there. That's much better. All right, another day, another vlog in the books. This is kind of the final video here, wrapping up for the day. Have some thoughts on my way home. And I actually got this thought from Alex Hormozy, and I've been thinking about it a lot recently. And it's essentially, hey, listen, sometimes for you to double your business, to double your income, it really is just a matter of you doubling your leads. And to double your leads, you can really do a couple different things. You can make your marketing twice as effective, meaning for the same amount of ad budget, you get twice the result, twice the output, or you can literally find a way to just double the amount of leads that you get. And also you can find ways in your business, if you want to make twice the amount of money take home, find ways to cut costs in your business. And I really think that the way to do both of those things simultaneously as a business owner, to both cut your costs, I don't know about in half, but to save money on cost and to make your marketing more effective, I don't know about make it twice as effective, but it's probably a combination in both of these areas, is through artificial intelligence. And man, I've seen this actually a result of us making significant amount more money in my agency, Syndicate Marketing, and also in our other e-commerce businesses that we own as well, because we're able to literally get twice the amount of output, maybe 10 times the amount of output, for probably the same amount of input on our employees' time, as well as we're able to cut costs because now we can replace more employees or more work with one person or better systems and processes that are automated. And I think that this is the revolution that we're about to face and that we're literally in the midst of right now. I don't think that AI is doom and gloom. I think that, it could be. And there's some interesting responsibilities that come with the increased power that is artificial intelligence. And having a stewardship on that is important, making sure that we understand as a society where we're going. But I think that the biggest revolution that we're going to see is that people are going to be replaced not by bots. People aren't going to be replaced with artificial intelligence per se, but by people that are knowing how to use it. So if you're an employee and you are working for a boss right now, and you can go and learn artificial intelligence automations and tools that are practical and that can replace, or you could do the same work or the job of 2 or 3 or 4 other employees. Why would that boss pay for the employees when he could just pay you double? And he'd actually get better work, better results, and you'd be better off for it. I think that's the type of revolution that we're going to see. If people running businesses can replace their team with artificial intelligence, with automations and output that are more effective, why would they pay more money to get the same result or less of a result? The answer is that they wouldn't. So as I'm wrapping up for the day here, I think it's just interesting to think about that as it relates to your business, as it relates to maybe starting a business, as it relates to what you want to do in the future, and why it's so important and crucial that I think that you're taking time to learn about tools and technology, because if you don't, you're going to get left behind. Anyways, that's a wrap. Another day. We'll see you tomorrow.